Welcome back to Krysten's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be finishing up that story of the night that I went to the ER, Halloween night 2006. If you missed that video, I will link it in the comments below, so go watch that and then come back over here and let's talk about the rest of the story. Okay, so here's what happened. After that, things were fine, I guess. I had my surgery. Everything went great. It was a rough year, though, dealing with that. And then I had lost two very close family members, my great aunt and my mom's mom, my grandmother, my Gaia. So it was a rough year dealing with all that. So that was sophomore year of college. I had done school online that year. I went back to school my junior year, back to Arizona to the same school I went freshman year, and things were fine. The birth control was working because I was regular and things were honky-dory, I guess. So my doctor in San Francisco, where all of that happened, wouldn't prescribe me my birth control because I was in Arizona and needed to see me for an appointment. Well, that wasn't happening because I was in another state. So she recommended that I go to a doctor, OB/GYN there, to get a prescription for birth control for my issues that I was having. Well, the doctor there wouldn't give me one. It was a whole long story, and maybe I need to do another video about this later, but long story short, they took my blood pressure. It was way up here, like off the charts scary, because before that, they showed me what they were going to do to me with an appointment, and I was terrified, so of course my blood pressure was way up here, and they actually said, "You're going to die," and I was like, yeah, that's what they said to me. I was terrified. So I left, and I don't even remember. Oh, they ended up putting me on blood pressure medication, which I believe they should have put two and two together, that they just showed me this thing that they were going to do to me, and I was terrified, and my blood pressure was way up here, and then they told me I was going to die, and they said, "Your blood pressure's high again, so here, take this blood pressure medication." So that's what I did, and I don't even think I went back on birth control at that time. They just put me on blood pressure medication. So that was fun. So that was like 2009-ish. So 2010, January, I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and she was telling me about a naturopathic doctor that she was seeing, and I didn't know anything about naturopathic doctors. I had heard of them, didn't really understand everything, but I was very curious. So I got this doctor's number, and I went and saw her, and I immediately was like, I feel like I owe my life to you. We did lab work, we did blood tests, we did all kinds of stuff. I found out I had Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. It is the leading cause of infertility in women, and most women don't know they have it. Hi, my name is Krysten, and I have PCOS. She said one of the first things I'm going to have you do is do a cleanse or a detox to get a lot of the foods out of your system that you should avoid. So if you saw my part 1 and part 2 of my story, then you probably remember me talking about the fact that I had to avoid certain foods that were bad for me. So for instance, my favorite fruit, I should say, is bananas. I love bananas, but unfortunately I can't eat them because they are very high in sugar, and it's not good for those with PCOS. So I was at the time eating bananas for breakfast, and I was like, I can't lose weight. I don't understand. All I had for breakfast was 2 bananas. I didn't understand what was healthy for me, like me personally. If you're eating bananas for breakfast and it's working for you, that's awesome. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying they're bad for me. So she said, we're going to do a cleanse. It's going to be 8 weeks is the first part, and I think 4 weeks is part 2. You pick a date and stick with it, and I'm going to guide you through it. So that's what I did. I picked a date. It was February 15th, so it was the day after Valentine's Day, and I started. I had to eliminate a lot of foods from my diet. I had to avoid a lot of things. I had to avoid bananas, corn, wheat, dairy, soy, fruit, potato, very minimal. I could eat very minimal carrots or tomatoes, no fruit, like I said, and 40 grams of carbs a day. That is not a lot at all. So it was very hard. I started February 15th, and I went for it hardcore. I literally threw every single thing out that I had in my house that I couldn't eat. I put it in a trash bag and threw it away, because it wasn't just a cleanse and then you're done and you can go back to eating these things. It was a cleanse and then you're done, you're like, no more eating those foods. So I decided to be very strict with it, and in those 8 weeks of the first part and then 4 weeks in the second part, I did not cheat once. I did not have a bite of anything that I was not supposed to have a bite of. I was very, very, very good and very strict about that. No sugar, that was the other thing. So in that, I was also still going to school. I was still, trying to maintain some kind of a social life, and it was very difficult, to the point where I called my girlfriends one night. We were all going to dinner, and I said, I can't go. I am so frustrated. I'm having withdrawals from sugar. I want to scream. Everything is irritating me. I'm done. Like, I can't go. I can't go and watch all of you eat all the foods that I want to eat, but I can't. So I struggled a lot. I didn't realize how much sugar we were eating, even though we didn't go buy ice cream and cupcakes and do all that kind of stuff, but just the sugar in things. So it was very difficult, and the withdrawals were horrible. I mean, bless Jeff for sticking with me, because I was a hot mess. So Jeff actually did not do the cleanse with me that first time. He still ate the foods that he liked, and it was not fun watching him eat the stuff that I wanted to eat. However, he didn't eat those foods in my house. So anytime I was cooking or he was eating at my house, he ate what I was eating, and that was very helpful. It's very important that if you are on some kind of path or journey, or you are doing a Whole30 or eating paleo or whatever, that you have the support of your loved ones, and hopefully they won't be eating all the foods that you cannot eat right in your face. So I was grateful that, for the most part, Jeff was very helpful with that at home when we went out to eat. That was fun. So anyway, it was very hard doing this detox or this cleanse, because I started to realize all the foods that I was eating that were making me that was making me sick. So I thought eating whole wheat pasta was perfectly healthy for me. Wheat is something that I have to avoid because of PCOS. So it was a big change, and a change for the good. In those 8 weeks and then the 4-week part 2, I lost 60 pounds. I ate meat, I ate vegetables, I had 40 grams of carbs a day, so I chose to eat like a half of an English muffin that was a sprouted wheat. It was something I could eat at the time, and lots of eggs, lots of bacon. Oh man, I did not work out, and I wish I did, but I also didn't have a lot of energy in the beginning because of eating super low carb. So here's what I will say about all of that. If you feel like that's what you want to do to lose weight, forget it. Talk to your doctor. This was very specific and guided towards me and my body and my everything. So talk to your doctor before you do any kind of cleanse like that. It could hurt you if you are not working with a doctor. I'll just say that. So I will link more of that story and the cleanse and what I did down below, so you can see a little bit more, and the timeline of some stuff that, with the ER trip, as well as working with my doctor. You can see all that as well in that blog post. So here's what happened after the cleanse. This is very cool. So I got off blood pressure medication, and I lost 60 pounds. My face wasn't breaking out anymore, and get this, my period was regular to a T. To a T. It had never, ever been normal since 6th grade, or ever, because I got in 6th grade and it wasn't normal then, but it had never been normal. It had never been like, how you hear somebody like, oh, mine comes every 26 days or whatever. No, that was like, what? Mine comes whenever it feels like it and stays for however long it feels like it, which turns out is 4 weeks, and then I go to the ER and lose 70% of the blood in my body. So this was amazing. I was like, Food did this? This is so cool. Let me tell you, I wasn't on any medication when I did this cleanse. There was no added pills or supplements at the time that were helping me with all of these symptoms or, fixing my body of all these things. Food did that. That's pretty cool. So this doctor actually opened my world to, the natural products industry. This is kind of when Krysten's Kitchen started, because I was figuring out ways that I could cheat the system of, okay, so if I'm on this cleanse, what can I eat and still have it taste good? And I was very limited at the time. But after the cleanse, that's when I was like, okay, that I need to try this, I need to find that. That's when I spent all that money at Whole Foods trying every single thing I possibly could find that I could eat with my new restrictions, I guess, with the foods that I had to avoid because of PCOS. Here's the thing. It's not that I have to, I'm going to get in trouble. It's nothing like that. I avoid these things because when I don't feel that great. I don't feel like me. I don't feel like Krysten, and that's when the symptoms of PCOS kick in, like extra fun breakouts, stomach aches, hair growth in places that you don't like it, on your chin. I was open to this whole world back then, and that was the beginning of Krysten's Kitchen. So if you want to know all about that and you haven't seen my other videos, then go pop over and see my story part 1 and my story part 2. I will link them below because that's all part of this. It's like this big circle. So watch my story part 1, my story part 2, the night I went to the ER, and then this video, and there you go. It's a circle of life. It's a circle of life. That's my story. That's part 2. Stay tuned for more videos. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks for tuning in to Krysten's Kitchen.